with Cinema. Welcome back to War with Cinema. I'm your host, Greg, your local metalhead, and with me is...
Tha Collecta. What's up, everybody?
And today we're talking about a movie you gave me, which is...
A great movie I gave you.
What is the movie?
Vacation, 2015. It's I wouldn't say a full-on reboot because it sticks to the same family and just another generation. So I like to say it's passing the torch over from Chevy Chase to Ed Helms.
It's like he passed him a well-lit torch, and then it burned out as soon as Ed Helms got the hold of it.
Oh, man. I feel like that's disrespectful, man. Ed Helms is a great comedian.
So
I love The Hangovers, man.
So I want to start off by saying you gave me this movie, and initial reactions, I hated this movie so much.
Hate? Really? It's that bad?
Yes, I hated it.
There was no enjoyment at all from it.
There was like a couple of laughs, but overall, I fucking hated this movie.
When you say laughs, I'm going to talk about just a...
There was one belly...
Or like a really good, like, holy shit, I got to watch that over again funny. Because...
There was one belly laugh and a couple of chuckles.
Okay.
But overall, I hated this movie.
Ah, man. See, that's the thing about it, man. I gave you this movie because I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a good guy and give Greg a great one off rip because he's going to love this. And he's going to be like, oh, thanks for doing this podcast because, like, you gave me a hit off the bat.
And that's what I was thinking when you gave me this movie. I'm like, oh, I don't think he really understands what I want to do with this podcast. And then I watched this movie and I'm like, oh, no, he fully understands.
Well, I mean, like I said, we have some comedies that we both enjoy.
Yeah.
But... I thought this would be outside of your... I didn't think it would be right in your wheelhouse, but I didn't think it would be so far out that you wouldn't enjoy it. But the fact that you say you hate it,
yeah,
I'm a little surprised.
So, let's start. The opening sequence of the movie is these pictures of embarrassing photos of people on vacation. Like,
because we've all been there, man.
That was pretty amusing because the original Vacation, they used... vacation photos, but they weren't like embarrassing or whatever. So I thought that was a nice spin to it. I was like, okay, that's pretty amusing. And they played, what was that song? It was the same song from the original.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they're trying to keep the spirit of the movie. And I'm like, I'm on board. I'm with this movie. I like where they're going.
That's why I said you can't say they didn't stick to a source material because, I mean,
that was it, though.
I felt like I just was watching just the next generation of it, man.
The next generation?
Like Star Trek, but with Vacation. Vacation Next Generation.
Then after that, they go onto the plane, and they have the pilot with Alzheimer's. That
shit is great, dude.
I thought it was amusing because...
That old man.
It was going to pay off later. Like, that's the problem with this movie, is they have a lot of setup jokes that don't pay off later, and that's, like, my biggest gripe with this movie. And... like, the guy with Alzheimer's, like, it was pretty amusing, it's funny, and then him going back, talking to the family, trying to have that physical comedy like Chevy Chase had, kind of works, kind of doesn't. I was like, whatever, it's take it or leave it kind of thing.
When he's standing there talking to the family, come on now, man, that when the plane just starts, a little turbulence, not a big deal.
Like, if it was Chevy Chase doing it, it would have been amazing, but I don't feel like that's Ed Helms' like wheelhouse of comedy. Like, Ed Helms...
But you've seen Hangovers. Like, he is the physical... Him and Zach Galifianakis are the physical comedy in those movies. Though.
Okay, but that didn't pay off in this movie, though.
Yeah, maybe not.
He has comedy, and he's not offensive. Like, I didn't hate him particularly in this movie. I thought he did the best he could, comedy-wise.
Right.
But it's such, like, a... departure from Chevy Chase.
Would you have liked it more if there had been a different dad, a different Rusty?
I was thinking about that, but I don't know who else I would put.
They'd have brought Galifianakis back from Big Bang Theory and had him be Rusty as an adult. Would you like to see Leonard be?
Maybe.
Would that have been better for you?
I don't know who I would have put, but I don't know. Ed Helms.
You just didn't enjoy him in this one?
Not really.
He has kind of got like one of those, like, I'm not saying I've read into a bunch of people that are like, fuck Ed Helms, but like, I mean, I could see where some people could take or leave his humor.
Yeah, but I guess I have a distaste for him because I had such love for The Office.
He was a tool on that
and
one.
Steve Carell. Like, I love Steve Carell so much in The Office, and then Helms took his place, and I'm like, you're not as good as Steve Carell. I mean,
right.
I know you're just trying to keep the show alive kind of thing, but...
I heard he did better numbers than when Steve Carell was on it.
Maybe. He probably did,
just completely making that up, but I wanted to see your face when I said it. Because I know how much you love
But
The Office.
he possibly did. Like, it probably got more popular when Ed Helms took over. But me, personally, I didn't like it, and it kind of killed the show for me. And so it leaves a bad taste in my mouth seeing Ed Helms.
Right.
I don't think he's a bad actor or bad comedian or anything like that. I just have a bad taste in my mouth from him because of that.
Got you.
So
you liked the Alzheimer's pilot, but you didn't like that they didn't finish it off with an Alzheimer's pilot joke?
Well, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
But so we move on. He sees that his wife is so unhappy in their marriage, family, what have you.
She looked brutal in those photos.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. She did a really good job of progressive photos of how she looks just more and more miserable.
Can I just say that like this movie should get points just for how badass Christine Applegate still looks in her older age. Sorry.
I was thinking the same thing. Like,
good God. She's still Kelly Bundy hot, dude.
Yes,
like a mom version of Kelly Bundy
But
hot.
that's the thing. Like, she's the talent in this movie, and she tries so hard with the material she has.
She made the best of it.
She did. She made the best of it, and I think she did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually wrote in my phone as I was watching it, taking notes. I was like, what if she was so miserable doing the show that they had to put in the plot device of them having a failing marriage?
So when she was like acting terrible, like
exactly.
It's actually how she's feeling.
Yeah. So her miserable look actually made sense during the filming of the movie.
God, that's such a shit way to look at it. I hope to God that wasn't the case. If I ever meet her, I'm like, please tell me you loved Vacation, just so I can sleep tonight.
So he gets this idea. He sees his wife is so miserable, and he wants to shake things up a bit. And
does he go to the same cabin or some shit like?
Yeah, they've been going to the same cabin that was in the original. And he's like, let's go to Wally World because that was in the original. And that's the problem I have with this movie is it doesn't know whether it should honor the original or be its own thing.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's where it juggles. It's like we want to be a little bit of both, but it doesn't work.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah. So they go, he tells his family that we want to go to Wally World, and this is where we meet his two sons, and then he
Okay, sorry, I'm not breaking you off, but like, you got to tell me, the kids in these are better than the kids in the originals. Like, I feel like these were actual characters, and that's one of my biggest gripes about the original Vacations is I felt like the kids were so bland in the first couple. You know what I mean? Like, other than when they're fucking around with Randy Quaid's kids and shit, like I felt like they weren't big characters.
I feel like the original Vacation felt like a real family, and they just wanted to make their dad and father happy.
Well, shit, Michael Anthony Hall played Rusty in the first one, dude. He actually is an actor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but you didn't like the older son? Shit, he's in another one you like.
Well, I was going to get to that. I'm like, the sons in this movie felt like cartoons. Like, they didn't feel like sons you would actually have. They just felt like cartoon characters that people drew up.
The second son, I love that fucking kid. I wish he was my kid. He fucking puts bags over people's heads. That kid is fucking great. I actually
wrote in my notes, why is this little kid such an asshole? Like,
I don't know why, but I don't need to know why.
He doesn't have any redeeming qualities. Like, when somebody's an asshole, but he's a part of the movie that you're supposed to like, they have redeeming qualities. This kid has none.
Well,
like, there's
spoilers.
no part of this movie that you're like, oh, I understand this kid's like...
Well, spoilers, this kid's badassness comes out at the end because they need that street shit at the end. Spoiler alert. Like, that kid ends up being the heart, the backbone.
Yeah?
I feel like. I mean,
but
he didn't grow at all as a character, but I mean, he had a great time.
But the other kid, the one from Santa Clarita's Diet.
Right, the older one.
Yeah. I don't know his name. Do you know his name?
I don't know his name either.
So I saw him in Santa Clarita's Diet before I've seen this movie, and I really connected with that character, that actor.
My wife loves that show. I've never watched an episode.
It's a great show. It's like a different form of comedy that I like. It's like a departure from normal comedy. I liked it a lot. I hate that it got canceled. But...
I was just about to say it was so great. They said we don't want to see any more of it.
Dude, my wife was so upset about that. She canceled Netflix altogether.
Blasphemy.
Like, I
She
don't have
canceled the
Netflix right now
Netflix?
because they canceled Santa Clarita's Diet.
I mean, I get it. I've loved shows like that too.
Yeah.
My father canceled Sopranos back in 2006 because of that final episode. He was like, fuck HBO, fuck David Chase. If I ever see him, he's fucking dead.
Speaking of, I'm surprised my wife's parents haven't canceled HBO because of the Game of Thrones ending, but that's another story.
Oh yeah, we could go all day on that shit, but we don't do TV here.
Yeah.
It's not up to this level.
Most definitely. Anyway, I had a connection with this character, and he basically plays the same character, like awkward, shy, smart,
super smart, just no common sense.
Exactly. Yeah. So I really liked him, but only because of Santa Clarita's Diet. And then
might have to give that a watch.
You might. It's pretty good. I liked it.
My wife says it's hilarious.
It is. It like once you get the humor.
She says she liked Timothy Olyphant more in that than she liked him in Justified, and I fucking love Justified.
You know what? I have it on season 1 on DVD in there. I just haven't watched it.
I got the first 2. In my opinion, those were the best seasons, but
a friend of mine was telling me he really liked it, but I haven't seen it.
It's different.
So anyways,
back to that.
His
you like that character?
Yeah, I like him. So anyway, the father tells the family that they're going to be taking a new trip. They're going to Wally World, and they're like, okay. And the kids are like, are we going to be taking the trip in your old beat up car? He's like, no, I got a new car. And that's where the problems ensue. This car is fucking stupid.
It's great, man. It's almost a character in the movie.
So tell me, in the original Vacation, was that car iconic at that time, or did it become iconic because of Vacation?
I think it became iconic because of the movie, because it's not a real car. Yeah. And when you see it in the new Vacation, you realize, at first you're like, oh, it's just a regular old station wagon, the old grocery getter with the wood panels and shit. But then it shows it close up, and you realize this is not an actual fucking car.
Yeah.
This is like some same kind of deal, like some North Korean offshoot station wagon that somehow Clark Griswold's cheap ass has gotten a hold of and kept onto for 30 years. I thought that was cool too. Nice little callback to that later on in the movie.
I love that they tried to do that, but I think they dropped the ball on the car. Like, the car is stupid and doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Like, the 2 gas tanks, okay, and then it has electricity. Like, in my mind, that doesn't fit. Like, how are you going to fit batteries and 2 separate gas tanks in here? Like, it's
that's what makes it hilarious, bro, because it makes no fucking sense.
I wish they would have picked one or the other.
And then, he keeps, having to put the cord back in. It's like, what is this plug for?
I wish they would have kept that joke. Like, if it's going to be an electric car, have the cord dragging whenever they drove. Like, keep that running, guys.
Well, if he even shows the prong, and it's like, I don't know what that plugs into. It's so fucking
It really
crazy,
does look like European, Asian, not American at all.
Exactly. Because he's like, what does he say? I think it's like some European country, some terrible European country where Albanian. That's what he says. It's the Albanian Escalade or whatever the fuck he says, but that shit is great. I love that part.
And then the 2 gas tanks, I thought that was funny, but the 2 gas tanks with the electric didn't make sense to me. Like, they should have had one or the other, but what have you. And when they start driving, this is one of those jokes, it's a setup, but it doesn't pay off. It's he's like, oh, we need to get gas, and fucking Christina Applegate's character was like, we haven't even been driving for an hour. But that's the only time they say that. They could have kept touching on that throughout the movie, and it would have made it funny.
No, that whole sequence, they keep pulling over in gas stations. You don't notice that? While they're doing it?
Not that often.
I mean, what are you going to do? A 30-minute montage of gas station runs? But still.
They could have cut out other.
And then when they run out of gas, it kind of plays into it a little bit. But maybe not as much as they.
I guess I didn't catch on to that, but.
What's the swastika for? I don't know. We're not going to hit that button.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
If they would have showed the, what is it called? The key fob. Mm-hmm. And you would have looked at it and you would have seen a swastika. You'd have been like, what the fuck is there a swastika on it for? And the fact that she made a comment on it made it not funny anymore. If they would have left it there and
just
you
not
seen
said
it
anything.
and not said anything, would have been way more funnier than them pointing it out.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Because we saw it.
Exactly. It's hard to miss.
We're just not going to talk about this. Maybe that would have been better if she wouldn't have said, is that a fucking swastika?
Exactly.
She'd have just been like, we're not even going to talk about this.
That's what I'm saying.
Why is it?
I feel like this is a first draft, no rewrites kind of movie.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's just my opinion anyway.
Well, you got to remember, too, this is the first one in the franchise that was not done by National Lampoon, I don't think. Pretty sure it's just...
Probably to its fault.
Vacation?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, National Lampoon, is that even like a thing anymore?
No, it's not really. I don't think I've seen a
Most
National
of those guys
Lampoon.
are dead and gone. Like,
yeah. So, they get on the road.
Uh-huh.
And, where do they go to first?
They hit the springs, bro.
That's not the first.
Pretty sure.
Nah. Anyway, they go to the another joke. I'll talk about the jokes that I liked. So they go to her old college.
Oh, that is the first stop. My bad. The springs are next. My
okay.
bad.
So they go to the college.
That's fucking great.
And another missed opportunity for me personally. They're like, she's Debbie do anything, shows her tits to whoever. Wow, she put her finger in the dean's dick. Like,
if you didn't fall over laughing for that shit.
I was like, okay, this is a good setup. I like this setup. And then she's like, I made this course. I ran it in 6 seconds. I'm going to fucking do it because these bitches are talking shit. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, good. I'm on board. She gets up there and I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if when she chugs the beer, she just started throwing up? And then she does. She just starts throwing up everywhere. I'm like, yes, the joke is paying off. But then she proceeds to run the course while throwing up, and that's where it lost me.
I got you. Yeah, that I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that was you beat the joke over the head a little too
exactly.
much.
Like you're beating a dead horse at this point. Like she already threw up, and she's running the course. It's like that joke.
Yeah. The only thing that I think they added to that was she like falls off at the end or some shit,
and then throws up again. It's like.
Yeah.
Okay, you took a funny joke and you made it not funny, so...
Yeah, they beat it to death.
So that was my gripe with that whole thing.
Yeah, I give you a point on that. But, dude, like, the greatest thing, it's so subtle, is when the fucking frat girls, or the sorority girls, keep going back and forth, like, I heard she fucking show anybody. I heard she stuck her finger in the dean's dick. And then the last girl just slides it in there. She's like, I heard you could fly.
No. She says, I heard if I bop you on the head, coins come out of your butt.
Oh, some shit like that. Yeah, but either way, that's fucking great too. Like, what? And they just both kind of don't even acknowledge that she said it. Like, that was great.
I did really like that. So, and another, like, slightly funny part is when they're leaving the sorority, one of her sons tries to hand her a bottle of water. She's like, get that shit away from me. What's wrong with you? Okay, I laughed during that part, but, you know. And then we go off to the springs. I hated this part so much.
What are you talking about, man?
I hated the springs. I wish it could have been cut
disgusting.
Completely from the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
The dude with the rat? Nothing?
The dude with the rat was like the only funny part of that skit. And that's the thing about this movie is I feel like it's a bunch of skits written by separate people and then trying to be forced into a movie instead of being a flushed out movie with skits. You know what I mean?
I mean, I could see where you would say it just seemed like one bit after another.
Yeah.
It wasn't very, like, put together well, maybe.
Which I feel the original Vacation did, but they wove them together better.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it felt like an actual road trip. This one just feels like random-ass jokes. But the guy with the rat... He's like, I don't know him.
That's what I was just going to ask you. I wish I would have looked this up before I came over here. The guy, when he does, I don't know him. Like, he sounds like the gay dude from Family Guy. To me. Like, when I heard him say that line, I was like, damn, I wonder who does that shit. Like, I know Seth MacFarlane probably don't do that voice, but if it's that guy, that would be hilarious.
That would be pretty funny. But the rat guy was kind of funny. But when they got to the actual springs, I was just like, let this joke... Like, I knew what it was before they even got in the springs. I'm like, they're about to crawl into a cesspool of human fecal matter. Like, I saw it coming a mile away.
Well, if you watch the trailer, you see that shit.
Well, I didn't see the trailer because it's 2015. This is 2019, so...
Gotcha. You didn't hop in your time machine?
Yeah.
Go back and watch the trailer when it first came out like
I
I
already
did?
seen the movie. I don't want to waste any more time on it than I have to.
Oh, that's not fair.
So, and then the joke lingers for too long. Like, he's gargling the water.
Yeah, it was a little much.
Rubbing. He's like, oh, I found a dart.
It's good for your skin.
Syringe. But they just sat on the joke for too long. And then when you find out what it was, you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of fucking gross.
Yeah.
Still funny though. But then you come to the main course of comedy in the movie.
What's that?
And if you say you didn't like this segment of the movie, like, I don't think you know what comedy is, bro. When they go see his sister at the fucking mansion with Thor, and Thor's just a dumbass 1950s weatherman. I make the money, you have babies and cook me food and ribs and steak.
Okay, this is, I mean, it wasn't a belly laugh, but I chuckled through the whole thing. Chris Hemsworth did fucking amazing job.
He killed that shit.
He did. He
like,
was
if
one
you
of the
don't
best
fuck with Thor, you fuck with him after this movie just because he does comedy so well.
He does. But it harpens on one of those jokes that I'm like, I feel like this script was written by a 6-year-old, is when they saw the spray painted dick on the side of the car and they're trying to like wipe it off with their hands and it looks like they're jerking it off. Like, really? 10-year-old me wrote that.
Okay, I can see that, but the 10-year-old in me laughed.
I thought it was fucking stupid. But
I just like when they all walk away, Chris was like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
He's just like, he was gold in that movie.
He was amazing. He was the best part of this movie, in my opinion.
You told me you hate this movie, I was like, okay, I can respect that. But if you told me that you didn't enjoy Chris Hemsworth in that movie, you have no soul.
But that's Chris Hemsworth, so.
I mean, I'm trying to think, like, okay, 2015, they had done 2 Avengers and 2 Thor movies. So, like, in my mind, that was just Thor.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't watch any other really movies with him, you know what I mean? To think, like, oh, this guy could be a good actor or not. But I've seen more of his shit after that.
Yeah.
And I think he really did a good job in a lot of movies. Like, I watched that Black Hat. Have you seen that?
No.
Where he plays a hacker?
No.
Oh, dude, that's on your list, bro.
It bombed on the box office, so I didn't really bother.
I feel like a lot of that had to do with it came out at a bad time. Like, it came out with a lot of hits.
That's what I heard, too.
But I watched it at home when it was on HBO or Showtime or one of them, and I fucking loved it. Like,
True.
I thought it was really cool.
But one of my funniest gags that he does is he walks in the room. This is near the end of his skit.
Oh, yeah.
Is he walks in the room when...
The big old...
Yeah, he's walking
John
around,
Holmes.
and you can see his fucking cock through his underwear, clear as day. He even holds the remote right beside it, trying to explain the remote.
The power. Volume channels.
Yeah, just to show that his
I love his fucking Texas accent.
Yeah, I hated it at first, but it grew on me. Like, okay, this is like...
Oh, he definitely could not carry it a whole fucking movie or anything.
Overdone, but that's the point.
Exactly. It was just like broad, like everything in Texas is bigger. Even my accent, you know, shit like that.
But then at that scene, whenever he's leaving... he's like, I can't believe he only came in here to show off his abs. Like, that killed me.
That's Ed Holmes' humor. That's what he does best. That's his inside fastball. He's sending that shit over the fence. But yeah, I thought he was great in that shit.
And then the cow that kept eating beef.
That one funny.
Like,
that's hilarious.
the cannibalizing cow was pretty amusing. Like,
Dad, isn't that cannibalism, your son? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
I thought they kind of wasted. That was one. I don't hate a lot of things about this movie, but I did feel like it was a wasted opportunity with Judd Apatow's wife, who played what's the sister's name? Audrey. Yeah, Aubrey Griswold, whatever it is. Yeah, I thought they wasted that because she's a good actress. I love her in Knocked Up and This Is 40 and stuff. She's a good actress.
She is.
She was good in Funny People too. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they wasted her because she didn't have any like real good lines.
Yeah, she was really just a stand-in. Like,
yeah, I was like, well, how much they paid for her to just be moving scenery?
Yeah,
for
exactly.
20 minutes.
They could have really done something with her.
Yeah, they literally could have picked the lady out of the parking lot for that one.
Did you ever notice? Did you notice his go-to joke about faucets?
I love that. You didn't love that? I thought that was great. Oh shit, David Griswold, you could give a faucet a leak on a cold night or some shit like that.
No, he tells his wife, like, you can make a cold faucet give hot water. Like, what the fuck?
I thought that was great.
And then he does it like 2 or 3 more times about faucets. Like,
and even then Helms, like, and that was another thing. Okay, I could see your gripe with that. Like, he had to say it. Like, it didn't need to be said.
Yeah.
But he's like, what the fuck is with the faucets? Which I thought he'd give the line pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah. That was one that didn't need to be stated, but it was still great. I loved it when he did it because he kept being different, but still somehow the same.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh, so where did they go after that?
After that, they finally get back on the road, and that's when the truck takes a shit finally. And they're out there, and they ran out of gas, and because they're being traced by that trucker the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what happens. They think the trucker's going to fucking murder them because they hit the swastika and it blows up. Because they let the little kid drive and he like drives them into a fucking ditch or some shit.
What are you talking about that did not happen in this movie?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different... Oh, I'm thinking of a different movie or a different show.
I was going to say,
No, the kid didn't drive him anywhere. My bad. That was my fault.
Oh, we did miss over one point is in the original, there was the Ferrari girl.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious.
And it was a huge plot point in the original movie.
Kind of dark.
Yeah.
For the whole thing in general.
Yeah, exactly. But this one, they took it and like referenced it and then got rid of it, which I thought was pretty brilliant.
You know that the girl driving the Ferrari in this one is the daughter of the lady in the first one.
Is it really?
It is.
Did not know that at all.
See? So many good things about this movie you just didn't want to know.
It's not that. It's just they touch on good points referencing the original and then try to do their own thing. That's what I was saying. Like, they don't know which one to do, so they kind of do both, and that's what doesn't work for me.
4 years after its release, I'm still campaigning for it to get a nod for some award. Doesn't have to be much. Just give us something.
So, if you don't know, the Ferrari girl in this one veers off into the other lane and gets hit by a truck. Obliterated. And the funniest part is, this is the only time this gag works, is the car has 4 rear view mirrors, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, so he can't see what actually happened behind him because he's just looking at himself. Which, okay.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about this, dude, but the fucking North Korean, like, GPS was fucking great. Why is it so much angrier than all the other languages? Like, it would just catch you off guard. Like, they'd be pulling up somewhere and it would be like,
yeah, that was amusing. And I was thinking, like,
but I could see they did it a lot too. They beat that one over the head too.
It's not only that, but I was also thinking, like, would it be funnier with any other accent? Probably not. So
maybe Arabic.
I do like the part where they're like, let it calm down, and then it's just heavy breathing from the GPS. Pretty amazing.
Why is it so angry?
And then in the older brother, he sees a girl in a Jeep beside him, and I thought it was a pretty cute moment. It's like a throwback to the Ferrari girl, but with the son. And that's where it starts. The bag over the head gag, which is one of the few gags that gets me because they will not stop referencing it, but if they do it in the right moments. So the younger son throws a bag over the older kid's head.
That's fucking perfectly timed.
It was.
He's having that teen love, that first love moment, and then you're getting snuffed out by your little bro in the back seat, and you can't yell or get your parents' attention because he's putting all of his little body on your neck.
That was one gag that I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. And then fast forward to they get the hotel.
Yes.
And it's probably the worst. Like, how much did they spend on this hotel? Like $10 a night? It was the worst hotel I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I wouldn't even kill somebody in one of those rooms.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are they free?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a misplay because I've seen a lot of movies do that with the living conditions of where they're at.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of, I could see that. Is that a creature? It's all pubes. This is not all the same pubic hair. Like, that was kind of funny, but
it looks like 30 dudes. And then the older son is by the jacuzzi talking to the girl that he saw in the Jeep earlier in the movie. And this is one of those gags that got me too. Like, it could have been funnier.
Right.
But I just feel like it wasn't flushed out. The dad tries to be a wingman, but it comes off as him hitting on his oldest son. And so the girl from the Jeep comes up and talks to the oldest son, and they're having chemistry. The dad comes up, and he's trying to be a wingman for his oldest son, and it just makes it really awkward for the girl, so she ends up leaving.
Yeah, I could see that. That was kind of a missed opportunity, wasn't it?
Well, not that part exactly, but I see then the dad and the son start talking, and the dad's like, if you got any questions about the birds and the bees, don't be don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah,
He's
you
like,
mentioned
okay.
that the other day.
Yeah, well, the son's like, okay, well, I heard a couple of friends talking about rim jobs. Like, what's a rim job, Dad? And I'm like, really? That's
what fucking high school kid is sitting around wondering about getting his asshole licked? Man?
Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone pretty much knows what a rim job is.
Like,
Plus,
in high school, I was lucky if I just got my dick touched, let alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
like,
yeah, that was kind of a missed opportunity.
Rim jobs didn't come into my vocabulary until my, like, mid-20s. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, ass play wasn't even on the table at that point.
Exactly. I wish he would have asked him something more within his realm that he probably didn't think to look up, but it could have been funnier.
It would have been a lot better if he'd have said, like, Dad, what's 2 girls in 1 cup? Or, you know what I mean?
Or donkey punching. Like,
right. That would have been great. What's a white dragon?
Yeah, there's so many more, like, things you could have said that people have been like, what is that, actually? Yeah, they just played it safe on that one. The funny part, though, was he's like, you're not too old for your dad to give you a good night rim job. And the dude walking up just takes a 180 and walks the fuck away. Because he's like, I don't want any part of this at all.
I would have loved to have been that guy. Because that guy got a great laugh. And he didn't have a single word of dialogue, nothing. Just that look he gave was priceless. And just turns it with the towel and shit in hand, just takes a 180. Yeah, that was
And he's like, nope, fuck this.
Nope, definitely too weird for me. The fuck are we?
So where did we go after this?
Pretty sure either the car blows up or they go to the thing with Charlie Day, the river rafting.
Oh, right. The car doesn't blow up. What happens is...
It's not the car blows up yet because they go river rafting, and the river rafting guy, because the little brother, she's like, you're not going to say anything about what your brother just said? And that's because he'd already bullied him back. Pushed him on the ground.
We're all over the place. Oh, well, we'll just talk about the ones we like. So,
I mean, we're still hitting all the major points. It just may not be in the exact order.
Yeah.
But we've been pretty consistent.
Yeah. So, we'll just go back to the Tepees. So, they go back to the Tepees like they did in the original, which was another nod to the original. And he meets up with the girl again. They're having chemistry. And then the little brother comes out and he starts teasing his big brother again. And she's like, why are you going to take that from him?
Thought I was taking the high road.
Yeah, right? And he's like, I never thought about bullying him back. You can see he's like never crossed his mind to bully his little brother.
Really? That's how clueless the kid was?
Yeah. So he walks up to his little brother and just pushes him over. And this is one of those moments where I belly ached laugh because...
We've all been there, yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Everybody's got a cousin or a sister or a brother that they just were like, you know what, you little shit. It's time to throw this weight around.
But the funny part is he doesn't know how to...
he doesn't know how to be a bully.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to bully, so he messes
great.
up his hair, and then plays with his ears.
Like, you like having your ears like this or something?
He's like, no, it's kind of weird.
It's not bad. It's just kind of irritating.
But the girl sitting right there that's interested in him, and it just makes the whole thing awkward. And I don't know.
That kid plays awkward great.
He does, though.
You know, the few things I've seen him in, he plays awkward brilliantly.
And that's the thing I worry about him is I think he's a good actor, but I think he's just going to get typecasted as the awkward, smart, weird kid guy for the rest of his life, unless he breaks out of that.
Right.
But, and then like you said, after that, they go on the river rafting.
With Charlie Day.
Yeah, Charlie Day, which, another good setup. Like, Charlie Day keeps making these jokes, and he's like, no, I'm just joking. Or he says these things that could be potentially serious, but he's like, no, I'm joking. And it's like, okay, we're setting up to something funny.
Right.
And then his fiance calls him and breaks up with him, and he just has this huge moment.
Meltdown.
Yeah, a huge meltdown.
It's like a Sunny in Philadelphia classic Charlie Day meltdown, man.
Yeah, and then he comes back, he's like, are you ready to go? And they're like, not really.
Are you sure you're okay? Yeah. He throws his phone into the water. Yeah. Like, she couldn't even rethink it after that. Like, that's what made it, I thought, was great, man. And then the whole time, he sees all of them just finally enjoying themselves after all the shit they've been through on this trip. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, nah, I'm going to drive these fuckers off this waterfall. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, the funniest part is he's doing all this, like, crazy stuff, and they're supposed to be, like, not romantic, but, like, nice music playing, and it cuts out all the audio for everything else. So all this crazy stuff that Charlie Day is doing because he's so heartbroken with this nice music over the top was pretty amusing. And then he, like, steers the boat into the
shit part.
bad part of the river. other than the good part.
And then Helms is like smacking him around, trying to get him to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
That was great.
And I heard somebody say this earlier too, is it would have been funnier if they showed the family's reaction to him going over the cliff other than showing him going over the cliff.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of killed it. Like, Simpsons had this in one of their episodes, as Homer Simpson went over the cliff, and you just heard the audible him hitting the rocks and
yeah.
But you've seen the reactions from everyone around there, and that's what they should have done here, which would have made it funnier, but they didn't.
They didn't show the audio, but they did show him surviving
CGI
with him and the bear. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
like, that's what you get, you dick. About killed us. The bear got your ass. You thought you were having a bad day. This grizzly's gonna make it worse.
So, and then after that, where do we go?
After that, I'm pretty sure that's when the car's gone. The car gets destroyed, and the trucker gives him a ride to Chevy Chase's house, to Clark's house.
All right.
And he's like, "Hey, what's with the bear on the front? Do you have kids?" And he's like, "Nah, it just makes the kids get in easier." Dude, your boy from Walking Dead, like, what's his name? Shit. Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
He killed that little 5-minute part, dude.
He did, but...
So creepy. So believable.
The only thing is, like, 2015, he was probably at the height of his Walking Dead career, so I get it. But now, at 2019, you could have replaced him with anybody, and it would have been amusing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that guy just plays that shit well.
He does. I think he's a really good actor.
He was one of the only bright spots to Blade 2 to me. It was just like, because I believe that was, he was Blade's super fan. I got you. I'm your Q. I'm going to hook you up with all this cool shit to kill these vampires with because you saved my life. And then it turns out I've been fucking you over this whole time. But anyways, that's another argument for another day. But I like Norman Reedus, and I think he plays that creepy vibe to him.
Yeah, he does.
I think he does it very well. I think he does it in Walking Dead very well, too.
He does a good job. But we actually missed over one of the only times in this movie I actually belly laughed is when the kids and the parents are at a hotel and they want to spice things up a bit.
Oh, she's like, I thought you were going to pull that candle out. And he's
no.
Throws it back in the suitcase.
No. After that, and they're at the 4 state corners.
Oh yeah. That was the teepees. That's what's happening when they get up from the teepees.
Right.
What are you doing out here, Dillhole? Where's mom and dad? Yeah. That's the same time that all that's going on.
So they go out and.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because that was great.
Wouldn't it be fun if we had sex or had an orgasm in 4 states at the same time?
We have sex in 4 states at the same time, yeah.
As they were leaving to go to the corner of all these 4 states, I was thinking, like, they're not the only ones that have had this idea.
Oh, because that's definitely could happen in real life. That's
exactly.
Probably
Like,
constantly.
Anytime anyone's close to this kind of border, they're going to think about, let's have sex on these 4 corners.
Because anybody can have sex in 2 places at once.
Which they address. When they start having sex, one of the cops comes and stops them and breaks it up, and then you see an orgy of people having sex at the same time. I'm like, okay, they touched on...
Hurry up, you cut the line.
Yeah, right. But the one part of this joke, or this scene, that really had me going, that I didn't even think about, is... a police officer from each state,
right,
their own jurisdiction, comes in and they're like, this isn't your jurisdiction, this is mine, these are mine.
Their left foot's in Arizona, it's my district, it's mine. That was great.
Was the funniest part of this whole movie. I was bellyache laughing because I wouldn't have ever thought about this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was really surprised, for one, that it didn't do great money wise. It didn't do terrible. It made some money, but with all the star power they did put into it, I was really surprised that they didn't even at least try to go for a sequel. Because if it made its budget and it made some profit, like, I've seen other sequels get greenlit where you're just like, no fucking way they're making another one of these. But at the same time, but those 4 actors too, Michael Pena, the girl from Sunny, Nick Kroll, and who's the other guy? Did I get them all? No, there's 4 of them.
There's 4.
I forget the other guy's name. I've seen him in a couple things too, but like he's pretty funny too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all just popped in for a little, probably day's worth of shooting.
But that's the thing, like, that was the only joke that I found really funny.
Well, when you talk about things like that, like, you know, the more we've discussed it and the more I've thought about it, like, when you do talk about, it does make it feel more like you said, it wasn't cohesive. It doesn't follow a certain arc. It just kind of, like you said, one skit after another.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like I said, I could see that, but I don't think it would have ruined it for me. You know,
True.
Like, if you take it for what it is, just a good laugh, you know what I mean?
I guess, but I wish it would have made me laugh more.
Yeah, I guess. And like you said, that's what's subjective about it, you know what I mean, to a certain point, because what certain people find hilarious, some people don't even giggle.
That's true. And at the end of the movie, they end up at Wally World.
Yeah.
And they get stuck on the Ferris wheel.
The Velociraptor,
down.
bro.
Yeah. They fucking...
I love that they beat the shit out of the guy from Office Space's family.
Really?
I thought that was so rewarding, because, like, Rusty had been shitting on the entire movie. Like, you know, even with the roller coaster, they fucked him over. Like, it was great. They all... Oh, yeah, when he kept trying to get him to sing the Seal song with him. Yeah. That was fucking amazing.
I like that it paid off in the end. Like, the whole
family
finally...
That was adorable.
Yeah, that was cute. I'm like, okay, I'll give it to them. That was cute. It paid off. But that's the thing. Like, some of these jokes pay off, and then some of them fall flat. And, like, they set jokes up, and then do nothing with them.
Right.
So, I did like the fight scene because they bring back the little kid putting the bag over the head.
That bag, man. That bag was amazing.
And that's a pretty funny running gag.
I'm going to be honest with you, Greg. I would love to see that in every movie I watch. Doesn't have to be a kid or a person in general.
You just have to have
somebody
one.
throws a fucking bag over somebody's head at some point. Maybe a roll of duct tape around there just to make sure, you know.
Yeah.
But that's fucking great.
It was funny that they kept harping back on it. I'm like, they bring it back.
He does it like 3 fucking times.
He
does it twice in a row, and then they sprinkle it on you one more time before you leave, which I thought was perfect. Perfect amount.
That's one of those jokes that, like I said, pays off, but... And the slow motion fight scene when he was in the apartment, he's like, if anybody tries to lure you in their car, give him a good... He holds up a fist.
Give him a good scratch.
And then just give him a good scratch.
Do like Daddy told you.
And then at the end of the movie, they have the big family fight scene. He scratches the girl, and he's like...
She punches him in his shit. Yeah.
He's like, I scratched her. Her finger still hurt a little bit.
We fucked that family up. I'm telling you, that kid was great. Like...
So overall, it has its funny moments, but as a movie, it just doesn't hold up for me, man.
I know this is the first episode and we haven't worked out a rating system.
Yeah.
And we'll get some catchphrases to go with the ratings or something. But
I was thinking about that. Like, everyone has these ratings that are so, like, concrete and they have to go by their own rating.
Right.
Let's go by what we feel about this movie.
Okay.
Like, it's not concrete, but it's exactly, like, how you feel. Like you always say, like, I got that shit on Blu-ray. Like, that means you really like this movie.
Yes, that means I love it.
So... where would you put this movie?
Well, I don't have it on Blu-ray, so I wouldn't say I'm like, you know.
But it's how do you feel about this movie?
It's a fun family fun. It's a fun. No, I wouldn't say it's a family movie. It's a family movie, but don't bring your kids to see that shit. Your little kids to see it, but it's a raunchy, fun comedy to me.
Yeah,
and I have a good time watching it. Me and my wife. We get our minds right and we get a good laugh out of it. Like,
true.
It's a good roller coaster ride, not being punny.
If you find it in the $1 Blu-ray, give it a good hard, not Blu-ray, DVD. If you find it in the $1 DVD bin, give it a good hard think. If you can't find anything better,
if you find that movie for $1 in anywhere, I'll buy it for you. I like it that much.
But I'm saying, like, if you find it, yeah, give it a good hard think, and if you can't find anything better in that $1 bin, yeah, go ahead and pick it up, because it has, like, amusing moments, but other than that, I really wouldn't waste your time on it.
That's brutal, but that's honest, and I can respect that, sir.
All right.
On the next episode, though, you go get your turn back, because you didn't enjoy Vacation.
About tonight.
But I haven't thought for sure.
See you then.
Later.